Welcome back, everybody, to the back nine of the final round of the 2021 Down East Players Cup presented by Eastern Disc Golf and Disc Box. I am Brian Earhart, joined here one more time by Holly Finley. Holly, we dive into the back nine of this course. What are your thoughts on these remaining holes?
It's just going to get tougher out here. You know, you really got to stick to your game plan and try to finish strong.
As you see, Natalie Ryan 3 down in the front 9, throwing the disc really well, putting really well, and rest of the card just trying to stay afloat here. We will see what happens. We move into number 10, kind of a shorter par 4, technical par 4. You don't need to throw that far off the tee to get yourself into a good spot.
Somewhere right by this stump on the left is a decent landing zone. Then you've got about a 250-foot approach into the green to get yourself a birdie 3.
All right, let's see if she can keep the momentum going into the back. It's a low ceiling shot. She goes little Anheuser. And right side kind of pinches you off a little bit, but still might have something.
And that is looking good from Deann Carey. Ooh.
Yeah, like you said, just hasn't been getting the angles exactly right. That's kind of not what we're used to seeing out of her. We're used to seeing some rock-solid consistency.
She's making up for it, though, with the approach shots.
Exactly. And, yeah, I guess down the middle is not too shabby.
Slinging one out there.
Oh, got a good kick, though.
Okay, this is your look for the birdie from the fairway.
And I know it's about 250 thanks to my Bushnell that was given to me by my friend Kona.
And it pays off for you. Park job for the birdie. The bogey streak is over.
That could have used a bit more distance, but Deann's a good putter, so she'll have a look at bird.
And Natalie has snuck through that right side. She is pretty far up here. She has a forehand up to the basket and just saws that off a little bit.
I really needed to come out a little flatter.
She's going to have a long look for the birdie from about 35-40.
Natalie Ryan for birdie. And she knew as soon as she let that go, that was not going in. Oh, I just needed a bit more from Deann on that one. Elaine King for her par save. Solid putt. She really zings that one in there.
Yeah, another par save. She's been out of position so much, but has saved so many good pars.
Scramble Queen.
Yeah, seriously.
Scramble Elaine King. Scramble King Queen.
Scramble King Queen. That's exactly what her new nickname is. And for a nice birdie there.
When I watch myself make those short putts, I wish I could putt softer. Off-season goals. I said it already.
Yeah, for real. Take the chains off the basket and then try to drop them in.
Scaring me there, Brian. Hole 11. This is a par 4. You really want to smush one out there off the tee, and if you can land close to this clump of trees you see on the right side, that would be ideal. Then you have a straighter approach into this elevated green that's up behind the wooden wall. This is a very tricky 3 to get. I feel like a 4 feels almost like a birdie here. You can see that funny relief zone they had painted behind the wall if you happen to end up there, which luckily none of us have yet. And that's a little low, but it is controlled, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you'll be able to throw a hyzer into the gap.
Natalie being able to throw about 450, tries to put a move on it, hoping that she could flex that right into the mouth, but doesn't quite get the angle right. So she'll be caught up in that bushy section, which is inbounds.
Yeah, inbounds, but it definitely makes it tough to get to that mouth.
You can see Deann landing right past that clump of trees I said, which is ideal. And that's about as good as you could ask for from Deann Carey. And that needs to... Woo, no. Oh, I hate to see that, you know. I mean, you want to play better than your competitors, but you don't ever really want to see anyone throw out of bounds. So Elaine King now looking at more of a placement shot and threw it into the darn woods. I'm really just trying to get on that hill to the left of the wooden wall.
Oh, and that is fantastic. You have an absolute run at the basket for birdie.
And Natalie tries to pitch out. I'm not sure what happened there, if she just fell out of her hand or she hit something with the disc, but she doesn't make it very far. So now she's got another placement shot. And almost like Elaine, just too much juice on that. Ends up in that brushy corner, which is almost unplayable.
Yeah, it's real messy.
The rough here is so rough. It's thorny and everything. And Deann skipping one up to the hill. I did get the birdie on day one, and she asked me what I threw to get that birdie and how it happened. So I gave her a little, as you can see, we're discussing here where I made the putt from and everything like that. So.
Yeah, so when you're playing this hole for a birdie, you're not even thinking about going over the wall in the first
No,
shot. You just
no.
want to play to the corner maybe and give yourself some sort of long look.
Exactly. I feel like the flex forehand is really the play to get over the wall.
Yeah.
So Elaine having to sacrifice a stroke just for pitch out and placement, but then does a really nice Annie upshot over the wall. So she'll have a putt here inside the circle. And Natalie having to scramble as well. I like the height on that, so she sneaks over the wall for a putt. This will be for a birdie attempt.
Close, but just needed a little bit more height. Easy tap in par.
Since we have no whiskers, we have to ask each other, is it outside, you know, so you can legally jump putt. Good attempt from Deann for the birdie. Elaine's annoyed with us because we're asking all the time if we're outside.
And she just knows at this point.
Yeah, and we just, you know, you want that recognition from the card that you're doing something within the rules. Are you allowed to jump putt or not? All we need is a yes or no. Good long attempt from Natalie. Elaine cleans up here. We become so dependent on the circle 1 and 2 whiskers from the Pro Tour that when you get out putting at events with no whiskers, sometimes you truly can't tell how far out you are. And then you feel silly. Like, I'm not going to pull out my rangefinder to range find a putt in circle 2. I don't want to be that person, but I'm doing it.
Thank you, Bushnell. All right, hole number 12, the par 5, 868. Tee shot doesn't need to be crazy. You just need to put it in play. You have the OB on the left. You have the OB on the right. You have the OB deep. Just put the first shot in play, and then we move down this fairway with more OB on the left side and natural OB on the right. This is a tough hole.
It is. It is all of a par 5. And you said it best, with the tee shot being most important. Don't get too greedy. Just try to stay in bounds mostly. I feel like that's the most important. And then also that placement into the green or near the green is also the next most important shot. I'm just going for a mid, like you said, just trying to land in the safe zone.
And you get the safety sign.
Deann going with the driver, so she's pushing a little bit more distance off the tee.
Ooh, is she going to get it? There is that OB on the right side. She has to miss that, and I think she's going to be okay. I like the budget spotter with no green and red flags. Just the safe or the X.
Budget spotter, that's classic. Natalie with a full send. She's going for max D off the tee. Ooh.
Wow.
About hits the spotter. He tells us afterwards, I didn't even see that one coming at me. I don't think he expected it to reach that far, actually. And Elaine King throwing out of bounds left on the first day, trying to correct here on day 3 and overturns it. And I know just how annoying that is because she's great at placement. So Deann throwing that Valkyrie. Oh, that
Okay.
got scary for a second. Worked out fine, nothing to see here.
Okay.
Elaine getting sassy with her disc. Get out of there. It really does help if you yell at them sometimes.
Yeah, there's proven science.
For science.
Yes. And that is a really nice looking shot from you. Again, second shot is clean, safe in the fairway. Looking into the gap with a little Anheuser angle. Oh, and Natalie's getting aggressive, bending one a little bit. This is absolutely looking at the mouth for a birdie look.
Oh, yeah. She landed in the prime placement zone. And Deann Carey looking for the same thing. Executes that quite well. And you can see the ladies have chosen a placement over trying to get into the tunnel, which is the opposite of what I'm doing. Feeling very greedy. I want to catch up with Natalie. I do not want to place it at the mouth. I want to try to get further in.
Oh, and bending that. Is that a Roadrunner that you're throwing?
It's a boss.
Oh, my gosh.
It's old. So I get a little bit into the corner. It's not in a bad position. Very key upshot here. Whoa, look out, Conrad. We're trying to throw discs here.
Goes a little bit deep. Still has a putt for the birdie.
And that is looking good and clips that tree right near the green. Hate to see it.
Yeah, she's going to have just a pitch up to the basket. I think it looks like you have a little something.
I'm stuck between should I throw a mid or my putter, and you know what happens when you don't make your decision. So not very clean on the approach shots on this hole 12 from our card.
Still a chance for par.
Ooh, so glad I hit that tree. Otherwise, I might be 40 feet past the basket.
Yeah, very thankful for that tree. Long look for Elaine.
Oh, it had the right loft.
Just has not been her day. And when she was throwing good shots, she kind of got snubbed by some sleeper trees. It just hasn't quite been on her game.
The sleeper trees.
Yeah, the sleepers.
Oh, And just out of the right side for Natalie Ryan. So I felt like we all had strong parts of this hole. We just didn't link them all together. Natalie does get the par. I found it interesting. I didn't know this until this weekend. Natalie throws righty and putts lefty.
Yeah, she likes to putt lefty, it seems like, for those shorter
Shorties,
putts.
yeah, that's what she was telling me.
Training for the future.
I'm talking about how fast Natalie putts out. She just walks up and boom, she's ready.
If I need to get up and down in a pressure situation, I'm grabbing the AVR X3 every time. When you can connect the visualization of the shot that you're trying to throw with the feel of the disc in your hand, that's really when magic happens. I can trust throwing the disc as hard as I want or as soft as I want to do exactly what it's supposed to do. Like the AVR is the best putter of all time, the AVR X3 just might be the best approach disc of all time.
All right, hole 13. Pick your poison, left or right. I prefer the left side. Try to keep something low and in the middle. You don't want to skip left or, kick off into the right side. Then you've got a nice long approach into the green. This is threeable for our division, so, that's what I'm working towards. But really just keeping it in the small, skinny fairway is the number one goal. That's got some power on it. It's going places.
It is going places. Might be too far left to get up and down, but we will just have to see. You really want to be center on this one.
And it slips out of my hand, but it still ends up in a decent position.
Yeah, only 513 if you're covering 250, 250. Not too bad. That one felt good from Elaine.
Yeah, great looking shot. A great placement shot from Deann, landing up by the short tee.
Oh, is that a little too high? No, it's perfect. That's a great up and down. She has a 25 footer for the par save. And this is you for the birdie. Pro Destroyer back out in your hand. And just a bit deep, but really smooth out of the hand.
Didn't expect that much ground play from the Pro Destroyer.
I feel like the ground play out here is really unpredictable. You have some of those sandy patches of the grass. You have some really dry patches. You have the pine needles. Natalie's going to have a long look for the birdie. Not far enough left to where she was completely pinched off. About 50 footer.
Nothing wrong with the drop in for par. I've got a long look at birdie here. Bit of a misfire.
Oh, man. And I feel for Deann, like the fear of pain coming into your hand when you're putting is always in the back of your head. And that also is not a great feeling either.
No, I'm definitely annoyed at that point.
Yeah.
To putt so great the day before and then make these silly little errors. We all know how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily I have my memory is short, so by the time we get to hole 14, Hopefully I will have forgotten about it. As Elaine taps in for her par.
All right, Natalie taps in the par. We're going to move on to hole number 14. What do you think about this hole, Holly?
This is another one really out of range for our division. I think the play is to throw a max distance shot that can do a nice flare skip at the finish, and you end up in the field on the left side. Then you have a longer jump putt at it or a simple approach into the green. Elaine, you know, you really got to go more in the right side of the fairway and then cut in past that grouping of trees. Natalie trying to put all the send on it. Bust through some trees, and she's made it a decent ways down there.
Is it going to hold?
I overthrew that a little bit. It's coming into that situation where you try to throw too hard and then it gets sloppy rather than just throwing controlled. And this is the ideal shot from Deann Carey. Yes, I love that. That's pretty much exactly what you want to do on this hole.
Yeah, she's throwing that disc so well this week. Getting long, controlled flex shots out of it, and she's throwing it over and over and over again.
It's a funny situation when everyone on the card has a rangefinder. You know, some people don't want to share their rangefinder information with you, so you can't expect everyone to be forthcoming with how far the basket is. So it always cracks me up to see multiple people side by side range finding the
Just
basket.
give us the number.
Right. I mean, Elaine, we obviously all would exchange the number here, but sometimes you just want to play with your own toy.
Yes, it's my kaleidoscope.
Natalie chips one up into the green. Keeping it clean here as we're closing out the round. And I did not angle my approach shot correctly, so I've got a long upshot here. Great putt from Natalie.
Yeah, other than that double bogey on 11, just keeping it relatively clean, not necessarily getting in too much trouble.
Here we have Deann Carey for her par.
No problem for Deann. Oh my.
My heart. My heart. Hard putter problems.
Yeah. You're just going to have to take some of the jaws of life on your own practice basket and chop the chains off. It's time to play basketball.
Maybe I'll practice putting lefty. It'll be softer.
And more fun.
Yeah, you never know.
I can say from experience. All right, hole number 15, 551. The drone flight does not do justice to how low the ceiling is. The gap is tight, the ceiling is low. Getting to the landing zone doesn't seem that far, but it is because of the ceiling. And then you bend the corner to this elevated basket. It is a nice sandy green, though, that you could land your disc on softly. Yes. Taking the local gap.
Yeah.
But smashing it up there to the landing zone.
Basically, just pick your gap, you know, whatever you're feeling comfortable with to get up there into the sunshine patch.
And Deann does a pretty good job at that. Gets to a decent spot. There is a wide hyzer gap as well, and that is what Elaine is going for. A little bit higher ceiling.
I love that.
Yeah, it's farther away from the basket on the second, but the angle is a lot more direct. And yes, you do love that. You are taking it as well, and that is almost as perfect as you can throw it. Great shot. Lane's just going to be playing this one for a par, no problem. Oh, is Deann going inside? Oh, I like the decision.
And at this point, it's getting really close between me and Deann on scores, and I definitely took notice that she made a mistake here.
And you throw a fantastic second shot. Past the basket, you're putting for birdie from 25 feet.
And Natalie, with a very clean approach, almost onto the wooden platform, she'll have a very short putt for birdie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Deann.
This is a tough shot.
Savior shot at this point. And she's back out to the open. Probably wanted to get a little closer on that one, but I feel like she's going through the motions at this point. Elaine gave that a good bid, I think.
And this is for a really solid birdie. First drive was awesome. Second shot was great. And here we go from about 25.
I can't lie, I putted a little timid because the one before spit out, so. Good putt from Deann.
It's going to be an unfortunate bogey. Takes her to 12 over. That one drops in the basket. You'll take your par. We have 3 holes remaining on the course.
And at this point, I realistically know I'm not going to catch Natalie unless by some miracle she messes up a lot and I throw an ace or some throw-ins. So it's just a battle between me and Deann, and Elaine and a girl named Emily Garner, who's also from North Carolina. So got a couple different battles going on here as Natalie easily taps in her birdie 3. What a great play on hole 15 from Natalie Ryan. Here we go, hole 16, a nice birdieable opportunity. Closing out the round at only 288 feet. I feel like it plays about 300. If you can throw past this tree you just saw with the orange dot on it, little lazy hyzer finish, you might get yourself an ace. I love this hole because you've got so many long holes before this, and then finally a chance at a 2.
Natalie puts it to inside circle 1.
Looks good from Elaine King. She'll be putting for birdie.
And not too shabby yourself.
It's always fun to see what happens at the end of the flight.
Yeah, that's always one of the interesting parts of commentating on your own round. And Deann's going to hit a tree and kick back to maybe edge of circle 2.
Just a little too right on that one.
Sticks it on top.
We all get a good giggle out of that one. And just a little too right for me as well. So none of us able to capitalize on this short birdie too. It's quite unfortunate. But there's nothing wrong with an easy par. But let's be honest, we really wanted that birdie too.
Oh, yeah. And we have 2 holes remaining, 2 challenging par 3s, as Elaine is going to tap in as well. And it is all but finished for Natalie at this point.
That's always an awkward putt.
Yeah, I think that creek over there is what has it for all.
Welcome to the shop.
Okay, hole number 17, 371, left gap for forehands, right gap for the backhand. It's a tough hole. There's OB behind the basket.
One neat thing about this course is they do paint like marker trees. So if you can't see the basket from the tee, guaranteed they've got a tree painted to tell you where to aim or where the basket is positioned, or maybe even both. So Natalie going to the right of that right side marker tree that you've seen, and man, she'll be in circle 1 putting for a birdie.
Elaine just happy at this point to put it in play and just be able to get up and down for the 3. And you have the driver out.
Trying to get as close as possible. There is OB water behind this basket.
Feels like a little wind might be kind of lifting the discs up there. You saw both yours and Deann's get that bottom side lifted, and both are off to the left side, looking straight at the basket.
Man, she is so good at approach shots.
Yeah, she's really not stressing too much on the putting green because of it. And Deann hitting the pole.
Simmer down there.
That one's also got to simmer down.
It'll be fine.
Okay. Just
not quite what I wanted, but close enough.
Yeah.
Natalie Ryan for birdie on hole 17. Cash money.
What a putt. It's a fantastic birdie. She is just feeling it right now.
Yeah, playing really well today. Going for her first A-Tier win. And I clean up for my par. That's one of those where you secretly think the basket, as if you didn't do any of the work, the basket did all the work.
Yeah. Well, at this point, you would hope that they do that for you after what we've seen.
And Deann Carey cleans up for her par.
That's going to bring us into the final hole of the round, hole number 18.
Can't believe it's almost over. The party just started. 354 feet. Most important, make it through the gap. Just land anywhere, past the gap and give yourself a clean approach into the green.
You too. Good job. Thanks for being here to film us. Yes.
It's been so great having all the media crews out to cover the FPO division the past couple of years. Things have really exploded, and we appreciate y'all being out here and working your magic. Natalie Ryan tries a max forehand off the tee. Little off on the angle, but she does make it through the gap.
Just stay out of the weeds for her. Okay.
Yeah.
She's safe. And you put a decent move on this. Not quite as much flip as you were likely looking for, but it's going to be a pitch up to the basket.
Wow, our disc got a lot of ground flare skip. Elaine King with another perfect upshot within 5 feet.
I would not want to play against her on a putter's course, for real.
I just love her skills. Natalie Ryan with her approach. It's a bit long, but you know what? It's up there.
Yeah, she can lay up twice and she'll still be all right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. She's got a sizable lead at this point. And where I have ended up is not exactly the best positioning. I've got to shape something into the green. Really pleased with that. Everybody loves a drop-in putt to finish the round.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie for a long look at her par save, a hole 18. And that's okay. She's got enough strokes to spare. Bogey will not matter at this point. As Deann taps in, taking 3rd place.
Not too bad after having an injured thumb.
No, basically cutting the tip of your thumb off. Elaine King tapping in for her 4th place finish, and I'm tapping in for 2nd. I'd like to give Natalie the honors of the putt for her first
And the
A-Tier
lefty.
win. Yes, Natalie Ryan, your Down East Players Cup champion, her first A-Tier win.
Winner of the 2021 Down East Players Cup, Natalie Ryan.
Beautiful trophy, too.
Love it.
We appreciate y'all tuning in to this amazing coverage. What a fun weekend here in Greenville, North Carolina. If you have never played these courses, add them to your wish list. Congratulations, Natalie Ryan, on taking it down this weekend. Holly Finley, Deann Carey, Elaine King on this feature card. I appreciate you inviting me to the commentary, Mr. Brian Earhart.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Holly. Thank you for joining into the final round, and make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media, continuing to bring you fantastic disc golf coverage all season long. The season's winding down.
Yes, sir, it sure is, and I am sad for it, but it's coming to a close. Time for us to finish strong and set those off-season goals. We'll see you on the next one.